including launch times.
What the Atlantic released today is confounding and extremely disturbing to any American who worries about our national security and our safety.
Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth said nobody was texting war plans.
There's no units, no locations, no routes, no flight paths, no sources, no methods, no classified information.
Two top intelligence officials who were part of the chat were back on Capitol Hill Wednesday, this time facing House lawmakers asking about what was disclosed.
The conversation was candid and sensitive, but as the President National Security Advisor stated, no classified information was shared. There were no sources, methods, locations, or war plans that were shared.
Democrats are pushing back.
I think they intentionally misled Congress into trying to believe that this was some casual conversation. This is a war plan, and American lives are at risk.
Lawmakers are now seeking a classified briefing with White House officials about the leaks. Erica Brown, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
A stabbing at Ala Moana Beach Park last night sent a 29-year-old man to the hospital in critical condition. EMS responded at around 5:30 p.m. Tuesday. HPD says the victim was attacked by two suspects with weapons near the Diamond Head restrooms near the L&L takeout area.
One guy came out, running out, and he was all bloody, and then two other guys followed behind of him. And then they walked over to their vehicle and drove off. And the man then, after about 5-10 minutes, he collapsed.
The suspects ran away before police arrived. If you have any information, please call 911. Also at Ala Moana Beach Park last night, a crash involving an e-bike rider and an HPD officer. It happened at around 11:30 p.m. As police were searching for the assault suspects, HPD says a 911 caller reported that 4 e-bike riders may have been possible suspects. When police attempted to stop the group, one e-bike rider ran into an officer who was on foot before hitting a police vehicle. The rider was taken to the hospital in serious condition and arrested and charged with obedience to a police officer. The officer suffered a minor injury. Waikiki shootout suspect Nacelo Nathan is out of jail. A bail bond company posted his $100,000 bond on Monday. The 19-year-old is charged with reckless endangering and a firearms offense after gunshots rang out March 16th at the corner of Kalakaua and Seaside Avenues. Nathan is due back in court on Thursday. A building fire broke out in Kaimuki overnight just off Waialae Avenue. Crews responded to the scene on 17th Avenue at around 12:30 this morning to find a 2-story multi-unit residential structure on fire with heavy smoke coming from the second floor. Firefighters searched the building and found a 79-year-old man who was taken to the hospital in critical condition, and HPD just tells us that he passed away. EMS tells us there were 4 other patients. 3 were evaluated and declined transport. 1 was taken to the hospital in stable condition. The fire was fully extinguished by 1:10 a.m. An investigation is ongoing.
The fatalities have been hit the kupuna age population. So, you want them to, one, maybe get as close to the exits as possible to their home. First of all, have working smoke alarms close to the exits, need to exercise, and if that's difficult for the family, they need to go and get other help. Yeah, so maybe got to go into homes or hospice or something to keep them safe.
HFD says the #1 cause of structure fires is cooking fires. Officials say the best way to prevent a fire at your home is to install a sprinkler system, and if that's not possible, they advise to install working smoke alarms. Today is Prince Kuhio Day, and many offices are closed across the islands in observance. Now, city offices are closed today, and the bus and Skyline are operating on a city holiday schedule. All satellite city halls and drivers licensing centers will be closed. Emergency medical services, fire, lifeguard, medical examiner, and police services are still available. Meanwhile, Native Hawaiians and DHHL leaders rallied at the state capitol yesterday to pressure lawmakers for more money for homestead leases. Speakers stood in front of portraits of Prince Jonah Kuhio Kalani'anaole. He was a non-voting member of Congress and won approval to set aside thousands of acres for Native Hawaiian homestead leases back in 1920. 105 years later, thousands of beneficiaries are still on a wait list. The Department of Hawaiian Homelands has accelerated lease and housing developments using $600 million approved 2 years ago, but they're asking for more.
This is a very important step we are facing today, which is the funding to continue the initiative and movement that we are now undertaking.
This funding is not a gift. It's a payment on a long overdue debt.
The request for another $600 million is considered a long shot because of other demands for money and uncertainty about the federal budget. The state's speed humps designed to get drivers to slow down may be impacting Honolulu Fire Department response times. H&N Investigates found it's of particular concern in Leeward and Windward Oahu communities. Allison Blair has the story.
According to the Department of Transportation, those two areas include Kamehameha Highway between Laie and Hauula. You can see the 10 speed humps through that area. And then on Farrington Highway, the 5 speed humps right there in Waianae. Now, the issue is that fire trucks have to slow down almost to a stop in order to get over those speed humps. The humps present even more of an obstacle when they're back to back. Speed humps, speed tables, or raced crosswalks. No matter what you call them, it seems everyone's got an opinion.
It really does help protect the pedestrians who are trying to cross the street, so I'm grateful for it.
I understand that there was reasons behind it. I had 1, 2, 3, but after 3, man, it's too much.
The State Department of Transportation started installing speed humps in 2019. All total, there are 180 across Oahu, with plans for 11 more. Their purpose is to promote pedestrian safety by getting drivers to slow down near schools and in residential communities. State data shows it's working. The DOT says there's been a 74% reduction in total crashes near speed humps, a 59% decrease in speeding, and a 92% reduction in fatalities. But it seems the safeguard could have an unintended downside, potentially increasing Honolulu Fire Department response times. According to the U.S. Department of Transportation, just one speed hump can add an extra 10 seconds to a fire truck's response time. That might not sound like much until you take into consideration a fire can double in size in as little as 30 seconds. While officials say the impact locally is still unclear, the state confirms it's working with HFD to get a better understanding of how neighborhoods in Waianae, as well as communities between Laie and Hauula, are being affected. Some residents say they're eager for clarification.
Fire, they all got places to be and places to go. They got to get there ASAP.
In a statement, the Honolulu Fire Department told H&N Investigates it's working with the state to evaluate critical data and identify opportunities for improvement to ensure a proactive approach addressing safety concerns. The state DOT says it will provide advance notice and consult with Honolulu Fire before adding any additional speed mitigation measures in these areas. Allison Blair, Hawaii News Now.
Thank you, Allie. A new air ambulance will soon bring life-saving care to Hawaii Island. The Airbus H145 medical helicopter is being manufactured and will provide direct critical care transport to Oahu from any district on Hawaii Island. It's designed for rapid response and will have an experienced clinical team with a flight-registered nurse and paramedic. This is thanks to a partnership between the Daniel R. Sayer Memorial Foundation and the Life Flight Network in an effort to expand air medical services to Hawaii County.
Man, this is really exciting. I mean, you know, my priority is really public safety, and this is the pinnacle of public safety. And this will help us to help those who are in accidents. You know, this is like life-saving equipment here. In the form of a helicopter.
We are thrilled that we are going to be able to bring critical care transport to the island of Hawaii.
No word yet on when the air ambulance will be in service. Let's take you live now to Kilauea, where episode 15 of the ongoing Ala Moana eruption is just going off. Check out this gorgeous shot. Lava fountains have been exceeding 600 feet in height, and we've been watching this camera all morning, and you can see ash and debris falling there in front of the camera. Just gorgeous.
Aloha on this Wednesday. The light wind weather pattern continues. That means a few showers this morning for a handful of windward spots. There's just not a lot of rain out there. Much drier, much sunnier as the day progresses. However, in the afternoon, because of the light winds, we'll get those clouds building up over the interior sections, and they could spawn a few spotty showers into the early evening. Now, the big swell is on the way down. All the high surf advisory alerts have been canceled, and there's just small surf ahead for the next several days.
Thank you, Guy. Ahead on This Is Now, congressional Republicans want to defund the nation's largest public media networks. We'll take you to Capitol Hill, where the CEOs of PBS and NPR were in the hot seat today. Plus, there's a new push to reinstate Hawaii agricultural workers who have been cut off by the Trump administration. We'll be right back. Nation's largest public broadcasters face tough questions on Capitol Hill today about whether they should continue to receive federal funding. Republicans from a House DOJ subcommittee repeatedly accused the CEOs of NPR and PBS of promoting a liberal agenda during today's hearing, saying the public media outlets should be defunded. Democrats say it's all part of President Trump's playbook of going after media he does not like.
The news that these entities produced is either resented or increasingly tuned out and turned off by most of the hardworking Americans who are forced to pay for it.
We find that enabling public radio to continue to be funded allows for us to meet the needs of people who live in news deserts.
If we're going to get rid of any puppeteers, we should get rid of the one that's actually controlling Donald Trump. Fire Elon Musk and save Elmo.
Two Republican lawmakers introduced the Defund NPR Act last month to bar the radio network from receiving federal funding. NPR only gets about 1% of its funding directly from the federal government. Meanwhile, PBS Hawaii President and CEO Ron Mizutani responded to today's hearing saying, quote, PBS Hawaii has been here for more than 60 years, and public media has had bipartisan support in Congress for more than 5 decades. One of the reasons is trust, end quote. We're told PBS Hawaii receives about 20% of its revenue in federal funding from the Corporation of Public Broadcasting. Mizutani says they use 100% of the grant to cover the purchase and broadcasting costs of national programs. Meanwhile, cuts to the federal government are hitting employees in Hawaii. Eddie Dowd has more on the federal agricultural workers who have been laid off and then rehired.
U.S. Congresswoman Jill Tokuda says some of these employees were Hawaii ag inspectors who work in Hawaii's airports, preventing the spread of pests and diseases.
They've told me that they need to even think about consolidating lines if they have less employees.
Tokuda says she's heard of 12 inspectors in total across the state who lost their job last month. But earlier this month, an independent federal board ordered the U.S. Department of Agriculture to rehire all the federal ag employees fired nationwide. The workforce was granted a 45-day protection while the board investigates. But even with the termination reversed, it's unclear just how many have actually been rehired.
They're either reinstating them and benching them, or they're not calling them back to the job at all.
Tokuda is joining more than 30 other federal lawmakers calling on the USDA to expedite the rehiring of these workers.
Including folks, for example, that run the detector dog program. Right there, actually one of the most effective tools we have sniffing out potential pests and invasive species.
The workers operate under the USDA's Animal and Plant Health Inspection Service. HNN has learned some laid-off workers in Hawaii have been notified they can come back to work, but won't start till the end of the month. While state lawmakers have increased funding to the state agriculture department, they say Hawaii needs full investment from the federal government in order to fight invasive species.
The legislature has funded to stand up biosecurity efforts more here in Hawaii, but it's with the understanding that the federal government has been a strong partner in helping us with biosecurity efforts. We need the federal government to act now, act quickly, or it could be to the detriment of agriculture across the country.
The concern is that as time goes by, the threat increases, specifically from detecting the brown tree snake.
You must reinstate these APHIS positions now in Hawaii and across the country because these are our frontline warriors.
The 45-day protection order to keep ag workers on the job expires on April 18th. Eddie Dowd, Hawaii News Now.
Let's take a look at your 7-day forecast. We made it to hump day, everyone. Half a week to go until we get to the weekend. It's looking nice. Guy's going to have your full forecast in 2 minutes.
How's it on this Wednesday? We're still sitting pretty with a hot light wind weather pattern that's persisting over the state, expected to linger through next week. There's a big storm up to the north, but most of the moisture will remain parked to the north and going to move away to the northeast, so it will not impact our weather. Now, take a look at the showers out there. There's just a few hanging around for some windward areas. There's just not a lot of rain out there, and it's going to clear as the day progresses now, but because of these winds running slow again, the morning sunshine will become, cloudy in the afternoon, and the afternoon clouds will likely spawn a few spotty showers into the early evening, but those showers are not widespread, so most everybody might not see rain at all. As far as the surf, it's definitely on the way down. All the high surf alerts have been tossed out. There are just minor pulses ahead for the next several days. The good thing is that with the light winds, conditions will be very nice, aside from some middle of the day onshore sea breeze. So the light winds and the fairly dry conditions will persist mostly into next week. There is a possibility for a little bit of rain coming in on Tuesday, but still that's at the end of the forecast, so there's a little bit more uncertainty with that. But we're pretty certain that we're going to get lots of sunshine over the next several days.
Thank you, Guy. Still to come in today's Good News Now, your lunch today could help support Keiki in need. Casey Lund explains in 2 minutes. It's time for some good news now. If you're thinking about grabbing lunch today, make it count. All Jersey Mike's locations in Hawaii are donating 100% of today's sales to Anchor Cares. Casey Lund is at the Kahala store with how you can help.
Aloha from the Kahala Jersey Mike's. Yeah, hi. And we were talking about this really awesome opportunity that everyone has on Oahu and on Maui, because there's Jersey Mike's on Maui, to just have lunch. The to-go orders, by the way, have been coming in all morning long, all day long. We've got Ray Lynn with us, cutting cheese. You guys are getting to-go things ready. I'm here with Tim, one of the owners. I want to start with James, though. One of the many groups that are supported by today's Day of Giving through Jersey Mike's, all Hawaii Jersey Mike's, is RISE, Residential Youth Services Empowerment. James, you were helped by them. Tell me about your experience with RISE.
My experience was basically just, I was homeless at first, and then they kind of just found me in my darkest spot, and then they just guided me through, gave me a housing voucher, and then now I'm living in a one-bedroom, one-bath apartment paying rent.
I love that, and things have greatly improved, I imagine.
Yeah, they have over the last few years.
I love that, brother. Thank you for sharing that. 14% of all homeless folks in Hawaii are under the age of 18, or 18 or younger, I should say, a better way of saying that, which is a statistic that came from the most recent point-in-time count. That's something that I think maybe a lot of people don't think of, right, Tim?
Yeah, I think it's just so special. This is just one of the many stories that Kids at Rise helps, and James is an awesome shift leader for us. He just got his license yesterday, so he's just on his way up, and it just brings so much joy that this is what we do.
We're also talking about empowering, folks that have been in a trafficking situation. I mean, there's really a lot of different groups and organizations that we're helping out today. All people need to do is have lunch, right? That's the easiest thing.
That's all you need to do, folks. Just come in, find your local Jersey Mike's, grab your neighbors, grab your friends, have breakfast, lunch, and dinner at Jersey Mike's, and you'll support so many amazing kids, and just like James here, that'll be touched just by you buying a sub today, and that's what we do, making a difference.
I love it. Tim, thank you so much for all you do. I'm going to come over here. We're going to talk with my friends Tammy and Tina. Tina Scotty, I'll start with you. You're with Family Programs Hawaii. Tell me a little about your organization, and really also I want you to quickly highlight, because I'm running out of time, but I wanted to share James's story, just how dire things are for some nonprofits right now, and why today is going to be a big deal.
The biggest thing with nonprofits right now is the lack of funding. And so being able to partner with corporations and businesses that are willing to give back is something that can make a huge impact and make a difference in our society right now. And being able to be with Jersey Mike's today, being able to partner with Anchor Cares and be able to put all of these on the board to be able to support is amazing.
I
so
love that.
Thank you.
All you have to do, again, is have lunch. You can also order in advance. As long as you place the order today, pay today, any sales, it all goes back to those nonprofits, those causes. And the stores on Maui, your money stays on Maui. We'll send things back to you. I know that was a lot of information. More details at HawaiiNewsNow.com.
Thank you, Case. And what a great cause. So yes, definitely go there for lunch and dinner tonight if you can. We want to leave you now with this live look at Kilauea. Just incredible, you guys. This is episode 15 of the ongoing Ala Moana eruption. This lava fountain just going off. USGS says at some points it has exceeded 600 feet. So if you're on island, you should definitely go check